right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Four Horsemen of the Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Neil D'Souza. On today's podcast, we're going to address the election. And I know many of you you're probably a little bummed out, feeling bad for the results of the election, or maybe you're happy and excited. But we are going to dive into today some of the reasons that it looks like the Conservatives lost the election. And more excitingly, we're going to look at many of the reasons that you and I need to be excited about what's coming ahead and what we need to be looking for in this new liberal regime and how we're going to make money in the coming days, months, and years on this week's episode of the Four Horsemen of Real Estate. Canada, oh Canada, let's go. We got an exciting episode here today. We have a liberal government in power. Mark Carney has won. Congratulations. We will get into talking a little bit about the Conservative loss. For all of you guys, for all of the investors out there, especially in real estate, congratulations, or investors in any area, congratulations with the Liberal win. We've got lots of exciting news ahead for the rest of my fellow Canadians. As I said in previous episodes, I'm sorry for your situation. I do not believe that Carney is going to be best for you, but if you're an investor, you've tuned into the right place. Let's go. The Conservatives lost. Pierre Poilievre lost. Interestingly, they actually won more seats than they did last time. So congratulations. Yay, Conservatives. Pierre lost his seat. Pierre's going to stay there. They're going to continue rolling. They are the official opposition. The NDP wiped out, basically. In fact, that's what we saw in this election. Just to break that piece down, what we saw was not the Conservatives losing ground. They actually gained ground. We saw the NDP lose ground. Like they went down from something like 20 seats down to 7. And the question is, where could you have picked up votes? Well, we already know the answer to that. We know the answer to where Pierre lost votes. He lost them with the boomers, with the older generation, the people who already have homes. So they're not worried about the price of homes. People who can afford to pay the carbon tax. In fact, a lot of those individuals are looking from the perspective of, you know what, we should do something more for the environment. Why? Because they've got extra income at this point. They can afford to do that. For anyone that's a boomer, I'm sorry if this is if this is offending you. We got to get this stuff out of the way. The reality is that boomers have money in the stock market. They don't want volatility in the stock market. They don't want that change. They want to continue to see the stock market continue to rise steadily. And Pierre stood for volatility in that area because he was trying to return strength to the dollar. And so as a result, that's what we got. You got people that are afraid to lose on the top end, and they voted Liberal. So I can't blame them for that. If you're listening to this, I don't need to worry about you because we're going to be talking about how to make money in this new liberal economy. And it is an exciting, look at my face, it is an exciting place for us to be. Let's go. Okay, and with that, guys, why am I so excited? Why am I so excited about the Liberal Party winning? Although we don't know how long they're going to be. Why am I so excited? We know one thing with the Liberal Party. They are going to spend money. Guys, even when they told us, this is how much we're going to spend, he said, we're not going to spend more than $40 billion over the budget. There's the budget. And then we're going to spend an extra 40 billion beyond that. And they missed it. Instead of 40, they spent 60 billion. In fact, that number was higher after Carney came in because he approved some things. So they went more than $60 billion over their budget, which was already over how much Canada makes. Guys, on CBC, liberal media, I mean, it's fantastic. You know, they're excited to announce what the Liberals are going to do. The Liberal platform promises $130 billion in new measures over 4 years. $130 billion. They're going to add approximately $225 billion to federal debt. That's the headline from the CBC. The biggest areas include tax cuts, housing support, and national defense. I love it. I, I love the idea of tax cuts, housing support. I love how they put it, housing support, and national defense. He hasn't even gotten back into parliament, and he's already announcing how many hundreds of billions of dollars he's going to add to the Canadian debt, like housing support. Come on, guys. We already know they're not talking about building houses. They're talking about building government apartment buildings. So, and if you don't know that, I'm sorry. My apologies. Guys, we've known this. We've known this. We've known this. So we know that the Liberals are going to spend more money. What does that mean for asset prices? What happened the last time interest rates dropped extremely low? Asset prices, home prices went up. Are we going to be surprised when they start spending more money that we don't have, which means, AKA, in the background, they are printing money? It means asset prices are going to go up. That's how that works. So asset prices go up, house prices go up, vehicle costs, all of these things go up. We'll blame it on Trump and the tariff wars. That's what we'll do. But for you and I, if we're investing in real estate, we'll watch as property values go up. We'll watch as rents go up. The only other option after that is for the federal government to put in rent controls across the country and bankrupt all of the landlords and then buy all of the apartment buildings across the country, and then all apartment buildings become government housing. I sure hope we don't get there. I hope that should we see those days, where you and I will not have to be subject to them by that point in time. Just to be clear, I don't pull that out of thin air. These things have happened in other countries. So we know as investors, if you're into real estate, you're going to make money. If you're into things like precious metals, it's going to go up in value. Crypto will more than likely go up in value. Certain cryptos, I'm not giving financial advice here, by the way, guys, but certain cryptos, they'll probably go up as well. Plus, we know the Liberals want to move us over to the crypto. They already started under Trudeau digital currency investigation. So they've been looking into moving us over to crypto anyways. Gas prices, we know that Carney has put a pause on the gas, the carbon tax. But the other piece of that is we know that he plans on inserting it in behind the scenes. So the prices will just be higher, and they won't call it a carbon tax anymore, but it'll be there, guys. So if you're looking to invest, most Canadian companies, because of that money printing, will go up against the Canadian dollar. That's just how that works, right? More dollars, higher valuations. So that opportunity is there. Now, the other side of it is that more Canadian investors are going to be scared of Canada under Carney, mainly because Carney has talked about taxing small and medium-sized businesses more heavily. The ultra wealthy to them is doctors, chiropractors, the dentists, people of that nature. They are not talking about taxing the the corporate elites. The proof is in the pudding. Even Mark Carney, has his money going through Bermuda. I mean, the guy was the former governor of the Bank of Canada and the governor of the Bank of England. You think he doesn't know how to move his money around so he doesn't have to pay taxes? He's already got his money going through places in the Caribbean and in these places so that he doesn't have to pay taxes. And now it's all in, he's been talking about how it's all in a blind trust. Guys, wake up. He's he's got the money moving around. He's doing just fine. And that's not the people that are getting taxed. He's one of those people that he talks about taxing, but he won't be one of the people that get taxed. It'll be your doctors, your family doctor. It'll be your family chiropractor. So as a result, a lot of investors are looking to diversify into the States and looking to diversify into other countries. And if you're one of those people, I know that it's definitely something that I've looked at. I'll talk about more in the future. But these are some of the opportunities that are up ahead for us. So there's opportunities in some of these sectors, and you might even be able to invest into things like some of his housing unit project. They may even allow some of that to, if you're a contractor or if you're a developer. But guys, these are just a few. Once they resume Parliament, we'll get to hear more and more of what they're going to be investing in, and you and I just get to listen to it. This is the beauty. Okay, I'm gonna just say this, guys. When I say that you and I have an opportunity to make more money under the Liberals than we do under the Conservatives, here's the reason why. Under the Liberals, they use government money to invest into things. Now, the government doesn't have money, which means they're taking your money, but they use government money to invest into things. Part of the requirement for the government is they have to tell you where they're going to invest it. So the moment they tell you, you and I have the opportunity to go invest in those areas. Now, when the Conservatives do it, their plan was to return more money to people to decide how to spend it themselves. We can't know what people are going to do with their money. People could do anything they want with their money. So it's not as easy for you and I to figure that out. But when the government does it, when the Liberal government does it, they will announce. If the Conservatives were in power and they were doing projects, we could also follow that up. Anytime the government is spending money, you and I get to go and say, all right, we're moving in this direction. But when a government like the Conservatives put more money back into people's pockets, we can't control that part, and we don't know where people are going to spend their money. So the exciting part for the next potentially 4 years, 5 years, who knows how long we've got Mark Carney for. We don't know how long he's going to be around, but for the next 4 or 5 years, let's get ready. There's going to be a lot of money to be made. And hey, guys, thank you for another episode of the Four Horsemen of the Real Estate Podcast.